Honey, I'm home.
This is Dinosaurs, and its existence is perplexing. It's even more perplexing that this show was greenlit for 4 entire seasons. Despite the fact that the show's cast is comprised of animatronic puppets, it presents itself as a relatively typical 90s sitcom. However, when you start to unpack the material within the show's extremely strange narrative, it's hard to discern just who Dinosaurs' target audience was. The show isn't family-friendly enough for children, and it's a little too silly for adults. Which begs the question, who was this for?
Not the mama, not the mama.
I really wish you'd grow out of this.
Dinosaurs began its run on primetime television on April 26, 1991. The show was sort of like a reverse Flintstones, in which the dinosaurs ran a sophisticated and intricate society, while the humans are presented as somewhat feral creatures that live in the woods. The show centers around the Sinclair family, a nod to the Sinclair Oil Corporation. The family unit consisted of Earl, the quintessential blue-collar working patriarch of the family, Fran, Earl's doting housewife, Robbie, an adolescent struggling with finding his place in the world, Charlene, a popular teenage girl, their grandma Edna, and a petulant baby named Baby.
Hi, I'm the baby, brand new, just out. Gotta love me, come on, gotta love me.
Development of Dinosaurs began in the late 80s with none other than Jim Henson, who was no stranger to utilizing puppets and animatronics to tell complex stories with adult themes. Aside from the Muppets, Jim Henson had found commercial success in feature films with 1982's The Dark Crystal and the 1986 film Labyrinth. Having spent over 30 years establishing himself as one of the absolute best in creating animatronic entertainment, Henson came up with the idea to make a feature film about animatronic dinosaurs who behaved like humans.
Oh, can we keep him? Please, 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 please.
This is not a pet. This is a wild animal. It's dirty and disgusting and doesn't know how to live indoors.
The idea struck Henson while he was developing the technology that would be used for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. To convey his proof of concept, Henson worked with a fantasy artist by the name of William Stout to create artwork to present to Walt Disney Studios. The concept of this Dinosaurs project confused the studio, and that's actually quite understandable. A sitcom with animatronic dinosaurs as the principal cast seems like it would probably be a little hard to sell to just about anyone in the entertainment business. It's easy to wrap your brain around the concept, but getting someone to understand how they would sell it and who they would sell it to might be a little harder to unpack.
Wanna give Daddy a kiss?
Not the mama, not the mama.
This all changed in 1991 when The Simpsons exploded into mainstream media, and it was actually The Simpsons' proven success model which led to giving Dinosaurs the green light. While targeting The Simpsons demographic definitely made sense, the animatronic medium through which Dinosaurs tells its story attracted a completely different audience. Back in 1990, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a massive hit with children ages 7 to 14 years old. When the studio was marketing Dinosaurs through a series of television commercials for UPN, they did very little to disclose the actual content of the show itself. Instead, they focused on zany antics, dancing, slapstick bits, and puppetry while using Walk the Dinosaur as the theme song. This piqued the interest of children, and the fact that Jim Henson's name was attached to the show likely eased parental concerns over young children viewing the show. So now we have a sitcom written for adults and teenagers, but the marketing seemed geared toward children. Dinosaurs' whole vibe is sort of an extreme version of the same sitcom trope we have seen perpetuating itself throughout the history of television. Overworked husband comes home and takes out his frustrations on his family as they all navigate various stages of lives.
Why does my life have to be like this?
Well, now, isn't this the choice you made, Polly boy? Getting married, having a wife and kids, and not eating them?
However, Dinosaurs adds a spice to this mixture that really cranks the weirdness up to 11. That spice being the fact that, despite the cast consisting of fully fleshed out characters with deep emotional cores and intricate personality traits, they are still very much giant lizards with lizard brains that operate on an inhuman level. They often level threats of extreme violence toward one another, and they usually follow through.
You were gonna be my dinner, and now you're my boss's assistant. Wow, I can't eat you at all. Oh boy, kind of funny, huh?
So the characters all sort of exist within a strange catch-22. They emotionally connect with each other in very real ways that resonate with us as viewers in one moment and then threaten to murder one another in the next moment.
One day I'm gonna gut you and turn you into luggage.
Well, I've always dreamed of traveling with you, too.
This usually comes as a threat of being eaten or forced into some weird mating ritual. We're never really set up for long-term growth with characters that have such a large, inhuman barrier to their relatability. This bit of we're a loving family, but we're still very much violent lizards definitely lands with us as an audience. The writing of the show is quite unique and intriguing. The show was not only created by Jim Henson, but also Michael Jacobs, who created Charles in Charge, and Bob Young, who had previously worked on shows like Who's the Boss and My Two Dads. Together, Jacobs and Young come up with some clever storylines that keep the laughs going and really push the limits of what you would think you could do with robot puppets. If we look at the pilot episode of Dinosaurs, it demonstrates the inhuman nature of the characters right off the bat. Within the first minute of the episode, Earl reminisces to his toddler about the golden age of dinosaurs, when parents would eat their babies.
Once upon a time, dinosaurs didn't have families. They lived in the woods and ate their children, and it was a golden age.
Then what?
Infanticide and cannibalism are a hell of an icebreaker when it comes to not only character introduction, but the introduction of an entire series. Later in the episode, Fran lays the egg that will eventually hatch into baby Sinclair. The idea of fatherhood scares Earl so much that he decides that he's going to abandon his family in favor of living in the woods. We're not quite sure who this show is designed to be relatable to. Fathers who have a deep-rooted desire to forsake their entire family's existence over the purchase of a television?
Okay, this is it. The wilderness of my ancestors, where my spirit belongs and my soul longs to be.
This type of adult humor isn't restricted to the pilot episode either. The second episode has Earl getting his groove back and utilizes a mating dance as a weird metaphor for erectile dysfunction. The third episode is all about a holiday called Hurling Day, which is a special day in which the dinosaurs throw their elderly relatives off of a cliff due to them becoming too old and burdensome on their families. Earl spends the entirety of the episode relishing in the fact that he gets to violently and legally murder his mother-in-law.
After 20 years of your mother on my back, I get to haul her up to the top of the mountain and fling her bony butt to oblivion.
The fourth episode is probably the most problematic, as 90s television shows tend to get from time to time, and sets up a scenario in which a giant dinosaur decides he wants to have sex with Earl's wife, so he gives Earl 3 days to live. So is Dinosaurs funny? Undoubtedly. The entirety of Dinosaurs is quite mesmerizing. Hilarious writing clashes together with top-of-the-line technology to deliver something that most people would think would be impossible. The comedy evolves with the series and blends lowbrow humor with some really high-concept gags that keep the laughs coming time and time again. The design of the dinosaurs alone deserves probably every technical award you could possibly ever give to a television show. The performers inside of the suits do an incredible job of bringing these characters to life, especially when you pair their movements with top-tier talent like Stuart Pankin in the role of Earl, Jessica Walter as Fran, Sally Struthers as Charlene, and Christopher Maloney as Spike, to name a few of the more notable members of the cast. To this day, Dinosaurs stands out as one of the most unique sitcoms ever to air on television. It's also one of the weirdest. In a way, it sort of served as a mirror to how problematic the American sitcom trope had become over the years of stagnant themes and character choices. In television shows like Married with Children or All in the Family, the characters themselves behaved like monsters from time to time. Dinosaurs made their main characters into monsters while searching to find heart within its humor.
I think you're missing the point, sir. The world may be coming to an end.
Well, that's a fourth quarter problem. We'll drop a bomb on that bridge when we come to it.
While it doesn't quite fail at that, it doesn't quite succeed either. Dinosaurs really existed within a realm of its own. This was a show written for adults, geared toward teenagers, and seemingly marketed toward children. While the show attracted a niche following of people from all of these demographics, Dinosaurs had a pretty low ceiling for exactly who it was attracting on a weekly basis. Slowly but surely, interest in the show waned, and Dinosaurs was canceled after its 4th season.
Dinosaurs have been on this earth for 150 million years. And it's not like we're going to just disappear.
And while its run may have been brief, the words will echo forever in our hearts and souls. And that's it for this one, folks. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. You might see a couple of links floating around in the player window. Feel free to click on any of those if you want to stick around. And thanks for watching Nerdstalgic.